Hey everyone, it's Inigo here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making part 2 of my Finnish course. In part 1 we looked at pronouns, and I feel like a natural progression from pronouns is now to look at possessive pronouns. For an English speaker or someone familiar with the English language, this is things like my, yours, theirs, his, hers or ours. So we're going to look at how to do that in the Finnish language today. I'm also going to go back over pronouns and kind of show you a pattern between the pronouns and the possessive pronouns. We're going to look a little bit at genitiivi or genitive, and we're also going to look at a little bit of plural or monikko. So I'll go back over the pronouns that we went over in session 1. So to start with, we have minä olen, which means I am. Minä olen, I am. Sinä olet is you are, singular, you are. Hän on, which is he or she is, or they, singular, are. Me olemme, which means we are, plural, we are. Te olette, which means you, plural, are, you are, plural. And he ovat, which means they are in plural. So I'll go straight into some examples and I'll try and indicate like the patterns for you to follow between the pronouns and the possessive pronouns. So the first example that I've written down is hän on minun ystävä, hän on minun ystävä. And that means he or she, or maybe even singular they, is or are my friend. So hän on minun ystävä, in English, he or she is my friend. So the pattern that you need to recognize here is we've gone from minä, which is I or me. We've now used minun to indicate possession by I or me. And you can tell that there's possession here with the N at the end of minun. So in the English language, we indicate possession by using an apostrophe and an S. So for example, you might use someone's name and then put an apostrophe and an S at the end of their name. And that indicates that that person that you use the name of owns something, or you're talking about their ownership of something. In Finnish, we use the letter N to indicate the ownership of someone or by someone. So that's why it's minun with an N on the end. And this way of conjugating a word, so going from minä to minun, using an N, is known as genitiivi. And this is really important because also later down the line in your Finnish learning, you'll go through something called postpositions, which will help you kind of, essentially like consider positioning of different objects. And it's a little bit different to how we do positioning in English, although there are some similarities in certain ways, but definitely it's a bit of a different process that they use in the Finnish language. So understanding genitiivi will be important for that too. But for this lesson, we're really just considering ownership and possession. And that is highlighted with the N. I've also used ystävä here, which is in singular, but I'll do some examples later, which will be in a plural. We could also conjugate ystävä and we could take it further, but just for this lesson, we won't conjugate ystävä. If you're a Finnish speaker, you'll understand exactly what someone means, but if you're doing like very high level written Finnish, you would probably need to conjugate ystävä as well to indicate further that is my friend. So anyway, we'll go from the first example to the second one. The second example is minä olen sinun ystävä, minä olen sinun ystävä, which means I am your friend. The pattern you need to see here is between sinä and sinun, between sinä and sinun. Again, at the end of sinun is an N, and that indicates the ownership by you, singular, you. And again, ystävä is singular. The next example is Matti on hänen ystävä. Matti on hänen ystävä, which means Matti is his or her or their singular's friend. The pattern that you need to recognize here is between hän and hänen. So all of these singular versions are quite easy to follow. It's not too much different to the original pronouns, so you need to remember hän goes to hänen, and the N again is in genitiivi, and that indicates ownership by him or her or a singular they. The next examples are going to be plural. So we've got he ovat meidän ystävät, he ovat meidän ystävät, which means they plural are our friends. They plural are our friends. So we've got he ovat meidän. So the pattern that you need to see is between the me and the meidän. Again, we're using genitiivi. And as I said in the example, I said they are our friends, plural friends. And in Finnish, there are a few different ways to do a plural in Finnish. But in this example, we're using something called Monikko-T, Monikko-T. And the te or the t in the English language indicates like friends, kind of, or like the t is basically showing that it's all, like all people, all subjects within a given context. I could maybe use a different type of conjugation here, but I think for a beginner, this is probably the most common, easiest way to do a plural. So he ovat meidän ystävät translates to they are our friends, and the basic pattern that you need to consider is between me and meidän. The next example is me olemme teidän ystävät, me olemme teidän ystävät, which translates to we are your friends, we are your friends, plural your, and the pattern you need to see is between te and teidän, te and teidän. Again, teidän is in genitiivi, the n being used to signify ownership or possession. We've put ystävät, again, which is a plural, and me olemme, which translates to we are. And the final example I've got is te olette heidän ystävät. Te olette heidän ystävät. Te olette means you are, plural you are their, heidän, you are their friends. You are their friends. So te olette heidän ystävät. The pattern you need to see here is between he and heidän. Again, we've used ystävät to indicate that it's multiple friends, and using a T, Monikko-T, specifically indicates kind of all of the friends within a given context. It might not be like the best use of a plural in this example. However, I think for a beginner, this is probably the best place to start when using a plural. So these are all of the examples of possessive pronouns. So we've gone from, I'll kind of do a recap. So we've gone from minä, which means me or I, to minun, which indicates possession by me. We've gone from sinä, you, from sinä to sinun, which indicates ownership by you, singular you, so just one person. Then we go from hän to hänen. Hän is he or she or they, singular. So we're going from hän to hänen, which indicates or signifies the ownership or possession by him or her or them, singular. The next one we've got is between me and meidän. Me and meidän, this is the first of a plural. So yeah, me and meidän. So me is we, and meidän indicates the ownership by us, like all of us. And then the next one is between te and teidän. Te being you, plural, and teidän indicating the ownership by plural you, which is multiple people. And then the last one is between he and heidän. He being they, and heidän indicating the ownership by them. Another kind of key point is to remember the genitiivi. So using the letter N indicates ownership. So this is really important to try and remember as you're developing your Finnish. It will become a lot more useful and you can do a lot more with genitiivi further on in your Finnish. But for now, you really just need to consider that the N is used for the ownership by someone or something. And you can sort of consider it similar to an apostrophe S in the English language. So that's today's lesson on possessive pronouns. I hope it's been useful. If you have any questions, of course, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.